So, you want to get better at drawing eyes? I got you. My name's Carla, and I'm the artist behind Arie Debren Art, and today I'm going to show you how to draw eyes, step by step. The eyes are the windows to the soul. When drawing, you can use your subject's eyes to deliver all sorts of messages to your audience. For example, the eyes of a person can tell you how old they are, their gender, their race, even what emotion they're trying to portray. And this is why it's so important for portrait artists to be able to draw eyes accurately. So let's get started with the tutorial.
Okay, so first things first. When you're drawing, just like I discussed in my last video, you want to have a proper reference photo. So for eyes, it's easy, just take a picture of yourself, which is what I did here. Just took a picture of my eyes on my cell phone. Made sure I had some good lighting. I stood in front of a window to take the picture. Or you could also use Pinterest, Google Images, Pexels, Unsplash, Pixabay. The last few are royalty-free websites, so if you're trying to use those, the reference photo or the drawing of the reference photo to make an actual piece of art that you want to sell, then those will be the websites that you use. If you're using it just for practice, then it really doesn't matter. You want to make sure it's a good size reference photo, preferably an 8 by 10. I probably should print this out from my phone to use it. It'd probably be more ideal, but it's fine. I'll just look at it sideways so I have a better grasp of what I'm looking at. Alright, so with eyes, you just want to draw the basic outline of the eyes. Let's kind of just break it down here. Remember, if you saw my last portrait drawing tutorial, I talked a lot about just drawing shapes. So usually when I draw eyes, especially when I first started out, I will draw the circle first. So the circle of the eye, right here where the color of your eyes, is that your pupil, iris? I guess I should know the parts of the eye too properly. So I'll draw this circle first. So you just want to draw one complete circle. So remember, the eyeball itself is physically a ball. So everything is going to be kind of circular. You want to draw this circle shape first. And then I would go in and draw my eyelid. So these lines right underneath here. And like break up that circle. Make sure you're intersecting with the circle where it is on your reference photo. Once you get that done, you want to draw in this section, the little corners of the eyes. Draw in the fold. So this line, which is like a kind of a C, a very wide C. Any other folds that may be underneath your eyelids. And then you can draw in your eyebrows if you want to, your eyelashes. Draw the dark part. It's hard to see because I have dark eyes, but you know, you have your little dark pupil in there with your highlights. You draw those. So depending on what your light source is, it may be a circle, it may be a square, like how these are, because I was standing in front of my window. You can just draw those in to add more life to the eye. And then we're going to go in with some shading to add a little bit more dimension. So let's get started with what we have here. So like I said, first you want to draw just your basic outline. Use your pencil and measure your reference photo. So you want to see how wide the eye is, because the space in the middle of the eyes is the same length as the eyes themselves, each individual eye. So I usually use my pencil, so where the point of the eye is right here, match up the point of my pencil to where the eye starts. And it looks like the length of the eye is from the point of the pencil to where my finger grip is, the start of my finger grip. You see that? So it's an approximation, obviously. So I think I may have drawn my circle too big. Alright, so I marked my eyeball, my eyes right here, the length of my eyes. So this is going to be our eyes, the first eye. And make another mark, approximately right here or so. That's going to be the space in between the eyes. And then here to about there is going to be our other eye. Alright. So let's do our circle in there. So now we're going to draw how wide are these eyeballs? I'm going to draw our eyelids. So starting right here, this is the corner of the eye here. We're going to try to come up and match where it intersects with the circle. And see where it intersects at the bottom. And then you can just erase the part of the circle that you don't need. I want to fix my circle a little bit more there. Alright, so that's one eye. Now let's work on the other eye. And it's usually best to try to work on them back and forth to keep them even. Right? Now, I think I want to get in these highlights. Now, it's kind of hard to see here. We're going to try to kind of estimate it a little bit. It kind of looks like it's right here because where the light is shining, that's usually where the iris is, where you have all these highlights. So we're going to estimate it to be about around here. And the iris is just going to be another circle, and just kind of based off of where it is in the eye, see where the edges of it, like estimate the space between the edge of the iris and the edge of the actual pupil, and try to mimic that spacing in your drawing. Alright, and then you're going to draw in these highlights here. And it doesn't have to be like super duper accurate or anything with the highlights. Just do the best you can. So just kind of like square it off. And then you're going to go in and just fill in the darkness of that iris. There we go. The edge of the pupil is usually pretty dark because that's where your color of your eye comes from. So you can darken that. And we also have, even though you can't see it in this photo, you'll have like those lines in your eyes right there that make up the color. So you can add that in there too, or just do a little shading. Alright, let's do the other side. Now let's go in and do the fold of the eye right here, the eyelid. And like I said, it's kind of like a little arch, kind of like a semi-flattened rainbow almost. So just be mindful of the spacing. Try to get that replicate that as accurately as possible. And we're gonna get some more of my little wrinkles coming in at the bottom. And make sure those aren't like super dark, because if you emphasize that too much, you're gonna make the person look old if that's not what you're trying to do. So these need to be really light. Alright, so far so good. Now let's get in these little edges right here where like your tear ducts, the tear ducts are. And remember, your whole eye, like on the inside of all of this, if you look at this, this is a circle. So you want to make sure you curve that so you're showing that this is a circular shape that's inside there. Same thing with the other side. We're going to draw a little extra line here for your waterline of your eye, and that's where your eyelashes grow from, at the bottom of your eye. Draw a little bit of a waterline there. There we go. And let's go ahead and darken these edges right here, because that's the start of the eyelashes. So we're gonna darken that up. And plus, the eyelid is coming over the actual eyeball. It covers the eyeball. So anytime you have something that comes over something else, there's usually a shadow involved in that. So you're gonna darken those lines right there to make that shadow. While we're at it, we're gonna add, it's kind of hard to see here, but it's usually best to kind of add a little bit of shading in there as well. Because, like I said, your eyelid comes over your eyeball. So there's gonna be some shading at the very top. On top of the fact that even though they're called the whites of the eyes aren't like really white. They're kind of like well, I guess it depends on the person. They could have a little bit of gray or a little bit of blue in there. Okay. Next. Let's go ahead and throw in some eyelashes. Now, eyelashes, I used to have a lot of trouble with them. I still don't feel like I'm the best at drawing eyelashes, but a trick that I learned from watching Christina Luray here on YouTube is to do like little flicks, like 2 at a time. And it's like, it makes it more realistic instead of them looking like spiders, you know. Now, eyelashes follow the contour of the eye. So on the outside of the eye, they're going to come out away from the eye. And then the closer you get to the middle, the straighter up they become. And then they come out in the other direction once you get to the corner. And then your lower lashes are usually they're more sparse. They're not as thick as your upper lashes. And they're a little bit more spread out. So you can see here in the reference photo of my eyes, you can barely even see my lower lashes. I don't have very much. So we won't have to worry about that too much at the bottom. So let's go ahead and get these eyelashes in there. And you want to start your eyelashes like right here at the line, because your eyelashes grow from like right at the edge of your eyelid. I think it helps that I put on mascara before I took this picture too, because normally my eyelashes do not look this good. And then again at the bottom here, and where we drew that little waterline, like there's like that little space that we have, that's where you want to start your eyelashes from, and then just kind of flick them out from there. Alright, so the only thing we have left now are the eyebrows. My eyebrows, don't judge me, they look janky, I need to get them done, but whatever. So usually your eyebrows, if you look at your reference photo, they usually start right where your tear ducts start at. So just kind of find your tear duct and go up some, looking at your reference photo, base it how far up from the eyes, because everybody's eyebrows are different. So you just gotta look at your reference photo and see how far up you need to come and draw that line. I think this one needs to come in a little more. There you go. And then your eyebrows usually follow the arch of your eye too, in a way. Like it'll start low here and then it'll start come up right where the curve of your eyeball kind of starts. That's usually what I do, just kind of like start it low, and then right where your eyelashes usually start to get really thick at the end is a good spot where you can put the arch of your eyebrow. So yeah, that's usually what I do with my eyebrows, and if you want, you can close up the shape you want to follow it on the top part here too. And then what I normally do is I'll go ahead and fill them in. Like I have like the shape here, and then I'll actually fill in the shape with the eyebrow mark. So your eyebrows are gonna start like kind of really short right here in the beginning. And then, so I usually start them going straight up at the front here. And then as you move in, I kind of just flick them out following the shape. And like, you really don't have to make it super perfect as far as the eyebrows go. Just kind of, unless somebody obviously has like very distinct eyebrows, then you want to make it more accurate. Alright, so now let's start adding in a little bit more detail as far as like shading and whatnot. So your eye is a whole socket right here. So this kind of goes into your head. So that's why you have like this shadow right here. So you wanna, what I normally do is just make a little C-shaped shadow to signify where kind of like your nose, and it kind of comes up into the eyebrow too. And let's go ahead and you see how the fold is, because you have two things kind of coming into each other on top, folding over top of each other, so you have that dark shadow again. So let's darken that up.
The eyes can tell us many things about a person, from their age to their emotion. I hope you feel more confident in your ability to draw eyes. If this tutorial was helpful, please let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.